Welcome everyone to the Real Whovians cast. I am your host Matrix Lord 212. So I wanted to talk about, now that we're in 2025, I wanted to talk about Doctor Who, and I wanted to talk about how every single year there have been people that are Whovians that have been saying that Doctor Who is going to be canceled, and it hasn't. When people weren't happy with the specials for the 60th anniversary, people had done doom and gloom videos and thumbnails voicing their opinions about Doctor Who, saying that it was going to get canceled. And this was at the end of 2023. That didn't happen. And we got the first season of Doctor Who with Shooting Atwa on Disney Plus. And people, even after that, and the Christmas special, said that Doctor Who was going to get canceled. And now we're in 2025, and Doctor Who is still not canceled. So I wanted to do this cast, and I wanted to see, I don't know if anybody's around, because I do these things spontaneously, but I did want to get some opinions, and it doesn't have to be long, but if not, then I'll just voice my opinion. So let's see who could appear. Again, this is last minute. I don't expect miracles. I don't expect people to come in at the last minute. But we shall see. How's everybody doing this morning? Okay, Billy is out. All right, so I'm just going to talk unless if nobody's going to come in. So let's look at the picture of Doctor Who. This is a business with Disney Plus, okay? An announcement of that magnitude will have repercussions for Doctor Who and Disney Plus. If they were, which will never happen, but let's say in January now, an announcement was made that Doctor Who would be canceled, then they probably would not be able to air season 2, the spin-off, and the Christmas special. Hello, Matt. Matt, I would like for you, that's okay, you don't have to apologize. You're voicing your opinion. I would like to know if you would like to appear on the podcast with me right now. I was going to go with my speech, but I'll say my speech if you want to be in here with me. And then I can get your take on it. So I don't know. Like I am spontaneous with these things, and I do apologize. So I'm gonna go with something I usually don't do. I usually don't invite people without screening them and talking to them and like just making sure. But I'm gonna do that today. This is a rarity. So hold on one second. Let me just check my equipment here. Everything. Okay, I don't know. I think you got the invite. All right. So until he comes in, let's talk about it. An announcement of a cancellation would destroy all ratings for everything that's on the platform for Doctor Who. Okay. So Disney Plus would not make an announcement January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. And this is why. They had spent millions of dollars for season 2. They would not destroy the ratings for their own program that they invested in. I know that. They have invested millions of dollars in the spinoff, Ubica. They would not destroy the ratings for the spinoff. And the final thing of 2025 would be the Doctor Who Christmas special, which they would not destroy the ratings for that. Hello.
Hey.
So Matt, I
Can
can
you
call
hear
you
me?
Matt. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing okay. I'd like to apologize for that yesterday. A guy messaged you. I don't know. It was called like 12 Doctor Stan. He shared in the Discord, and then people start calling you a liar that you don't know shit, and that's where all that shit came from. It wasn't from me. It was from that one guy that messaged you.
Okay. No
Yeah.
worries. How you doing?
Doing okay. Just got some dinner, and yeah, gonna eat like
Oh,
in a few hours.
okay. It's gonna be very fast. I'm very spontaneous, so I know that it's not fair. I just sprung it on you. I don't
Yeah.
expect you to be in here more than 10 minutes, and plus the way I'm feeling, I don't know if I could stand more than 15 minutes because my stomach and I'm on medicine and stuff for my teeth. So, I wanted to just go over this with you, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna run by the scenario for you, okay? And then I
Yeah.
want your opinion,
Yeah.
okay?
Sure.
Okay. So think about this as a business, right? Disney Plus, right? They had spent let's say over 100 million on Doctor Who, right?
Yeah.
For season 2 and the Christmas special, right? They also spent millions of dollars on the spinoff, right? So I know that there are people that are trolling out there, but from a business standpoint, right? Are you expecting, if Doctor Who was going to be announced as cancellation, would you honestly expect an announcement from Disney Plus before December 26th, 2025, knowing that they spent 100 million, let's say, on the season, the
Yeah.
Christmas special, and then more money on the spin-off? Wouldn't they air everything that they have left of Doctor Who, and
Yeah.
then after it airs, then they would announce cancellation? Because if they announced cancellation before it aired, they would destroy their own ratings, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, am I wrong to say that if Doctor Who was canceled, the earliest date would be December 26th, 2025?
Yeah. I think that could happen. Yeah.
Okay. So you agree that there's no way that with them investing all this money, that they're going to make sure Doctor Who airs, and then they're going to make sure the ratings come in, and then if they were going to cancel it, they make sure that all their property that they filmed for Doctor Who airs. Correct?
Yeah. That's fine.
I mean, that makes sense, right?
Yeah, it does.
Because they wouldn't just that's like saying they wouldn't just they wouldn't cancel something before it airs, because then no one's going to watch it, right?
Yeah.
So they would lose all that money that they threw into it.
Yeah. Basically, then.
Right. And this is what I'm trying to do. When I do these videos, I'm trying to make you guys think from a business standpoint
Mm-hmm.
that all these people are coming out with these videos saying they're going to announce it tomorrow, they're going to announce it in February, they're going to announce it in May, right? They're all
Yeah.
coming out saying, but if you run a business and if you know a business, there's no way that that could possibly happen, because they are losing money left and right. Disney
Yeah.
has, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Disney has spent hundreds of millions of dollars on reshoots on Captain America: Brave New World.
Yeah. I think you're right about that. I read it the other day.
They have done test screenings, which it has failed every time,
Yeah.
and they are now, it's now I believe to be over $500 million that they spent, I believe.
I think they also spent over 600 on Andor season 1 and 2, which is huge. Like that's
Right.
a lot.
Absolutely. But in that sense, Andor is a success, though.
Yeah.
which they could recoup that money, right?
Yeah.
But Captain America: A Brave New World is basically they weren't allowed to do a Hulk movie if they called it a Hulk movie, but from
Yeah.
a technicality, they could do a Hulk movie and not call it a Hulk movie. So you got the Red Hulk, you got the Green Hulk, you got the leader, and it's basically Captain America Falcon thrown in there. So people are not. That's basically to me. It looks like that's going to fail. So they're going to lose money on that. Thunderbolts is mixed reaction. They spent hundreds of millions of dollars on that. Nobody's really thrilled with that, right?
Yeah.
Um, the TV show Spider-Man. It looks like woke. It looks garbage. 10 episodes. We don't know how it's going to do yet, but we already got more than 75% negative reaction to it, right?
Yeah, I don't like the animation personally. Just it's kind of a weird style. Like they're going with the comic accurate thing, which is kind of like a '60s homage. But I'm not really a fan of it. It could
Yeah,
work, but
and
yeah,
then we got Ironheart, which nobody's really looking forward to.
yeah, it's just a copy of Iron Man, honestly.
Right. So you agree that's garbage. So
Yeah,
would it be a fair assessment to say that the only thing that looks like it will generate money from the MCU would be Daredevil, because
yeah,
everybody wants to see Daredevil, right?
yeah.
That's
Original
going to be a
cast.
success, right? And Fantastic Four comes out in July, right?
Yeah, they got a great cast with that, and I really like the director of it, so I think that's gonna be good also. Yeah,
Yeah. So you got two hits, but then you got a lot of misses, right?
yeah.
Same thing like Star Wars. Star Wars, they lost a lot of money with the Acolyte. So here's the thing: they're not stupid company, all right. But the problem is that we have a lot, and it's fine that a lot of Whovians are making videos and streams. But if you look at what they say, it's not really making sense
Yeah.
because there's no way that you are going to shell out, let's say, 160 million, because 100 million, let's say, for the season, then you count the spinoff and the Christmas special, let's say 160 million, right? There's no way you're going to shell out $160 million and cancel the show before it airs. And cancel everything you filmed before it airs. Never going to happen. Unless they just don't care about losing hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, if they didn't care about losing hundreds of millions of dollars, then they would make an announcement. They wouldn't give a shit. But they do, because they are losing now. It's going to be estimated over $1 billion this year.
Jeez, that's a lot.
Because just with Captain America alone, Captain America needs to do 1,600,000,000 in order for it to be semi-successful.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Not happening. It's not
I think
Deadpool.
it's
It's not
gonna
Deadpool
help.
Wolverine.
Yeah, it's gonna get 700 or 800 max. That's pretty much it. And the trailers didn't really excite me for that. I mean, it looks cool, but I don't know. Just this Captain America doesn't really appeal to me. Like, he doesn't even have the super serum. So, like, I guess we'll see.
Technically, you and I know that he should never survive a punch from the Red Hulk if he doesn't
Yeah,
have
yeah,
the
yeah.
super
He would
soldier
just die
serum.
from that. Yeah,
Correct. Just like Gwen Stacy was thrown by the Green Goblin, who had a Goblin serum that was super strength. And
yeah,
when he threw her, she weighed 100 pounds. Her neck snapped before she even hit the ground the moment he threw her, because she was like a rag doll. So um, the Red Hulk punching Captain America would not make sense. It doesn't even matter with an armor, really.
yeah,
But anyway, so let's just dissect this. And this is why when I talk to you guys, I want you to think, like, that makes sense what I'm saying. I don't necessarily expect you to believe me. I
yeah, yeah.
want you to think for yourselves and say, what he said makes sense. Because if I get that, at least that works. But um, also, you are well aware that Russell T. Davis
Yeah.
is not waiting by the phone, correct?
Yeah, I don't think he is. Also,
Right? You know that the whole production company, that everybody he hired, they're not waiting by the phone.
yeah. He also promised Doctor Who yearly. So, like,
Yes,
if he'd break the promise,
he did.
that would, yeah. I don't know
So,
if this includes the spin-offs or just the general show. So,
well, and
yeah,
here's the thing. There is some confusion about the spinoff too. They just finished filming, so
Yeah, yeah.
they didn't work on the special effects. They didn't work on the music. They didn't work on anything. And they have to do that the next couple of months. There's no way it would release the spinoff before the season,
I
so
mean,
we
they
don't
have
even know this when the season's going to air yet.
yeah. I mean, they have the whole year to do just the thing, so we could get it
Correct.
in like the September or something. Like,
It's going to air this year. It's
yeah,
just not going to air before season two.
yeah,
And also, the reason why it won't air before season two is because season two finale is directly connected into the spinoff.
yeah, yeah. I think that makes sense. Yeah, the whole Conrad
I
thing.
mean,
Yeah,
we were talking about it, and we are under the assumption that Ruby Sunday dies in the finale. The Doctor flips out, screams at Unit, takes off, and doesn't answer their call.
well,
And then they
let's hope the death is permanent and like all those
right.
deaths where they get saved.
I don't want Ruby Sunday to die. I love Ruby Sunday.
Yeah, she's killing it.
I just want to read the comments.
Sure.
Bro, it's a 50-year-old show. Well, it's 61 years on Disney. People are trolling you. No, I look. There are people that are trolling, and there are people that are genuinely want Doctor Who canceled. And I think that they are so mad at Doctor Who that they're not thinking straight, business standpoint, to show. If they thought clearly, they would say, "Well, wait a minute. Disney just spent $160 million. They're not going to cancel it before it airs." That's a common sense.
I mean, Disney can cancel it. I mean, look at how bad
they can, but when is okay? We know, like say NBC or something. It's one thing if they filmed a pilot and they canceled it, right?
Yeah, sure.
People do that all the time. I don't know if you're aware or if you ever watched Beverly Hills Cop movies.
I haven't.
Okay. Well, anyway, at one point in time, they made a pilot for a series, and in the pilot, Eddie Murphy's character died, and his son was going to just have the series about him. And it never aired because they're like, no, we can make another movie out of this. So they scrapped the whole thing. Okay. And this happens too. There's series sometimes that gets canceled. Let's say like when Quantum Leap got canceled. Okay. They aired all the remaining episodes, right? In this day and age, things are different with the streaming service because the streaming service will lose a lot more money than a network show because people watch the streaming services now and not the network shows. So the network shows like NBC have Peacock, which is their own streaming service where people can watch at their leisure.
Yeah.
So it would be a disaster for Disney to destroy their own shows that they paid for just to appease keyboard warrior Whovians that just think they have the power to end the show. Now, let me read all the comments. Yeah, I know that it's not going to get canceled. Some shows get announced that this will be the last season. First of all, the Christmas special did well, even though I didn't like it.
Yeah, the viewers was real good.
It did well, and you can't fake that. Disney Plus had basically had it on the app telling you when it first came out it did number 3, then it did number 5, then it did number 10. People are sharing charts that says Disney movies. And they're like, look, Doctor Who's not here. Doctor Who's not a movie. See, you have to look when they share these charts to see if they're lying to you. Now, also, if not one person watched it in the BBC, right? Yeah. It wouldn't matter because Disney Plus is where the ratings are looked at.
Yeah, basically, there's more people.
But it does matter because if Disney Plus were to dump Doctor Who, Doctor Who would still have to do well in the UK in order for them to take it over again, right? So of course it would have to do well, and it makes the BBC. It is the top two. There's top 2 earners. Doctor Who is like one of the top earners for the BBC, which is why we said that Doctor Who is surviving till the commission date of 2033.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, the point is that they also have contracts. Yeah. Shooty has a contract, 3 and out, basically.
I
right?
mean,
So
didn't he say like he's gonna join, he's gonna film in February, but then they cut out that, and then people thought,
well,
oh no,
it
something's
wasn't the
happening.
BBC made an announcement. They didn't cut it.
Oh,
So the only other organization that told them to cut it was Disney Plus.
yeah,
So
that makes
basically,
sense.
what happened is Shooty got a message, whether it was from Russell. Russell was basically in communication with Disney Plus. He said, "You
Hmm.
can't. They got to cut this." And then he asked them to cut it, and they cut it. But for the
Yeah,
live studio audience, they saw that Shooty said he's coming back in February to film season 3 of Doctor Who.
yeah. Some
Now,
people actually clipped it, so I saw the
yeah,
whole thing.
yeah, and another thing too is that never in history does like they've shown that the actor doesn't know what he's talking about or the
Yeah,
actress. He knows. He's paid.
yeah,
All right.
basically.
Now they were saying, why is he not with Doctor Who all these months? First of all, he's not. He gets time off like they all do. So
Yeah,
he
basically.
filmed a movie with Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman. He did a voiceover for a music video, right? He did a secret movie that I can't say, and he's doing the play, right? So,
Yeah,
um,
I mean,
when all the
this whole
yeah,
thing is like saying David Tennant got fired because he didn't film the whole specials thing. You know that took him a while to get there.
no, the reason why they did specials originally when he was the 10th Doctor was he was doing Hamlet, and he could
Oh,
not do a season of Doctor Who, so he did the specials because he was
yeah,
filming Hamlet, right? They are allowed to do projects on the side. I mean,
yeah,
they can't be. So, in other words, when Doctor was done filming, the whole entire Bad Wolf crew went and filmed the spinoff,
yeah,
right? And then they're done filming the spinoff in December, right? And then they're enjoying the holidays. And now in January, they're going to be filming season 3 of Doctor Who without Shooty because
yeah,
there's probably going to be a week or two, which might be in a soundstage, might be in the
yeah,
companion's house, might be the companion's family, whatever. And then Shooty will join February.
yeah,
Okay. So again, when Russell said that, he said it very fast, but he said they got the money, they spent it already. He's talking about season 3.
yeah,
They spent it already. Um, he handed the scripts in August. They did prep work. They had the person that scheduled permits. Now, someone brought up a thing yesterday, which Marty did in the podcast, said they are going to be sending, if they didn't do it already, it's going to take some time for them to get the notification that Doctor Who season 3 is filming. Okay,
yeah. Hmm.
they're going to film it without an announcement. Okay, um, and people are under the impression that Disney Plus has got to come to them and say, "Hey guys, Doctor Who season 3 is approved." First of all, the show is on Disney Plus. There is no we're going to approve a new season. It's not canceled, so they don't need to say, "Hey, season 3 is a go," right?
Yeah,
They could just say it's canceled or not.
basic. Yeah, yeah,
Right? They don't
basic.
have to say, when did you ever see them say, hey guys, Star Trek Next Generation is approved for a 3rd season, 4th season, 5th season. Cheers is approved for this, or this show is approved for that. They just do it, right? This is not like a Disney property like Agatha, just saying that there's a season 2 or whatever they're
Yeah,
doing, right? Um, this is not their property. That they're having it on the show, but it's just going to continue. So people are looking for an announcement that's never going to come. If you're looking for a cancellation announcement, if they did cancel it, the earliest they would cancel it is on December 26th, 2025. But they're
yeah,
not. They're not.
yeah. They
And
probably won't.
again, um, Marty is not a casual fan. Marty is in the industry. Marty has met Russell so many times in the past couple of months, chilling, talking. And Marty also applied to work for Bad Wolf, and they told him he got the job with Bad Wolf. He has to stop doing Matrix Lord 2 and 2's Whovians cast, and he said he understood. And he came to me and he said, "Listen, if I get the job, I have to stop doing the podcast." And I said, "No problem." But then he took a job somewhere else in the
Oh.
same field. So when he went for coffee in the BBC studios, Russell was there, and they sat down and talked. And then he sent me pictures, just like when he went to see Shooty, he sent me a picture, and I'm like, "Oh, tell him he's the greatest, he's a legend." And then he sent me a video saying that, "You're a legend, Shooty." He's like, "You are too." But he also had had drinks with Paul McGann. He was with Katie
Mhm.
Manning. He's in the
Damn.
industry. He has
Yeah,
people's
yeah.
phone. So, but people getting jealous of that because they're like, "Oh, why don't we got the scoop? Why don't we got the scoop?" First of
Yeah,
all,
yeah.
like, it's all politics because certain people are supposed to get the scoop, like Radio Times, or that's a deal. Now, there's somebody that we talked about on the podcast, the woman that was the reporter that they always let in and whatever. She kind of pissed them off because she tried to make a doom and gloom thing because she hasn't heard from them. The doctor was canceled. The doctor was doing bad, and now she lost all her privileges. They're not gonna ever let her know anything about anything with Doctor Who. But she did it because it was a slow news day. You
Oh,
know?
you mean Nicola Medfin from The Mirror?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. She did lots of scoops.
Yeah, but she screwed that up with them now. She
Yeah,
ruined their relationship with them because she fed into the lies that it's doom and gloom, and now she ruined her contacts because they will never, ever let her be a part of that. Ever. So
yeah,
anyway. Um but let me ask you a question.
yeah. Sure.
How long are you watching Doctor Who?
Well, look, I didn't even know about this show. Like literally, I just searched up back in 2016, top 10 time travel movies, and Doctor Who came up, and I just watched them on those sites for like 48 480p quality. But
Right.
yeah, I've been a fan since like a lot. Like,
Okay.
is it 9 years already? But
Okay.
yeah,
Now I
back
know
in
when you first
2016.
came on the scene with me, you were
Yeah,
very vocal, right?
I don't even remember what was the first time when I talked.
You were very, very passionate and vocal about, I guess, me being wrong, I guess, and about the show being canceled. I remember, and I'm like, is he a troll or is he not a troll? Because that's the first thing I look at when people are engaging me like that. But I started talking to you. Things are fine.
Yeah,
You're not a troll. Just people are passionate. Like, I'm passionate about Doctor Who. Some people are
yeah,
not
yeah.
passionate. But what do you think's going to happen? What do you, like you said, all your mates, your friends are telling you different things. What is your opinion of what's going to happen with Doctor Who? Forget about their opinion. We'll get into their opinion in a minute.
Yeah, sure.
What is your opinion?
I mean, look, obviously season 2 is gonna air. I'm happy with it, and the rating's gonna come, and they're obviously gonna renew it. I don't know when they're gonna renew it, but I think they're gonna renew it for 100%.
So
If
you don't
this,
agree with their assessment. You think it's going to be renewed.
I think it's gonna be renewed. Yeah, Doctor Who is too big of a show to just let it go. Remember back in '89 when they canceled it, people were
Oh, I
going
remember. And I
crazy.
remember having to keep Doctor Who in my life when Doctor
Hmm.
Who was off the air that I got the novels like Time Worm and whatever
Yeah,
Doctor Who stuff I could buy in the comic book shops and the Doctor Who magazine and everything.
audios. Yeah,
And then when Doctor Who came back in America in 1996, um, of course, people in the UK were not thrilled. Like Moffat wasn't thrilled and Russell wasn't thrilled because
yeah,
they never chose the Doctor. So, and then that pilot was not renewed from Fox. It was not picked up. You can't really say it was canceled because it was just a pilot. But then they brought Doctor back in 2005 with Russell T Davis, which I loved.
yeah.
Knew who was damped up. So let me ask you a question now. Your friends, how old are you, by the way, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 24.
Okay. So now your friend, like, did you ever watch me before?
Well, look, I don't know how I came upon you. I was just like, I think it was like during the Jody years, and I was like, you were called, it was like Real Whovians cast, and I was like, oh, is this guy like one of those people that just, complain about the show? But when I checked you out, you were like fine, and I think it was like during series 12 I found about you. I didn't really
Right.
talk a lot. I think it was recently when I joined the streams and shit.
Yeah. And I know that after around COVID, everything changed, and I wound up going full steam ahead into gaming for
Yeah.
PlayStation. And the Real Whovians cast, which we're in right now, we're in episode 1988. That kind of slowed up because I was doing my
Oh,
gaming.
I've got a question actually. Since I've tried to searching, but you haven't done any videos like in Series 6. I see like your first video is like during Series 7. I wanted to see your reactions on some Christmas specials and all those episodes, but I couldn't find any.
I think I covered it afterwards in the
Oh,
Real Whovians. I don't know if I always had a problem with thumbnails and titling the
yeah.
episodes. I'm pretty sure I covered them. It's just that when I started, um, I think we were doing it was like Matt Smith and it was like Cold War and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Like one of the first videos it was is about the master or something.
right.
From what I saw,
So
yeah.
I mean, I did video. Okay, so I used to do before I did the Real Whovians cast. I did the thing called the Whovians podcast, which I don't know. I think he took them all down.
Yeah.
And before that, I was doing Doctor Who videos. Before that, like my whole channel was about Doctor Who. And then before that, I was just on forums for years about talking about Doctor Who. And then I did videos, then I did podcasts, and then I did my own. Um, but I have over 14,000 videos on my channel. And not all Doctor Who, most of it's Doctor Who, but there's nobody that has more videos than I do. But I wound up doing other podcasts like The Everything Show and
Yeah.
podcasts and stuff like that because I always felt that there's going to be a time Doctor Who's not on the air, and my group wants to talk about other things, the Real Whovians. So they wanted to talk about Godzilla, and they wanted to talk about
Yeah,
Marvel, and
yeah,
all that
yeah.
stuff, you know. So I am going to be doing a third major podcast. I was talking about that on my live stream to do with gaming, and I'm going to
Oh.
try to get the best of the leaderboards, the gamers on there with me as guests or you know, or members. And I also going to have my own group, my mods that are on my live streams. They're going to be, Super Beach Boy, Polluted Turtle, if you want to come on Polluted Turtle, and a whole bunch of people. I haven't decided when that's going to happen because, again, the factors are my health. Because, again, I want to be able to live stream, but I can't because, like, I was going to do today this big thing about God of War,
Oh
but
yeah, I saw your tweet about. Yeah, I got
yeah,
over
I was
the
gonna I was
remastered.
gonna do God of War remastered, but then I didn't realize I was gonna get sick this morning, and then I tried to do some videos, but
Yeah,
it wasn't working out. So if I stabilize, I'll be able to do a stream for hours. But
yeah, yeah.
I do have every intention of working on God of War 3 remastered because if you look on the leaderboards, if you look at my trophies, my very first PlayStation trophy was God of War 3
Mm,
remastered. So that's why I want to go back and I want to go in there. Now that was the PS3 version,
yeah.
God of War 3, not remastered, but God of War 3, and then they remastered it afterwards to PS4. So I'm going to try to do the PS4 one. When I buy a PS3, I will be trying to get the missing platinums for all the ones that are on my profile because I want to go backwards and try to get those. Um, but anyway, now what did your friends say about me in general? Because you were saying that I don't. Some said I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm lying.
I mean, look, I'm in this Discord server. It's like Reddit's Doctor Who server, and this one guy, I think he messaged you, and he said like, I don't know if you remember, he was called like 12 Doctor Stan or something. Like he had like a Capaldi profile picture. I'm not sure though,
I don't
and he
remember.
like sent me a picture of like, I don't know why is this guy saying some random stuff, and like he was like, is this engagement bait or something? And a lot of people joined in and just kept saying, don't trust this random guy, he doesn't know what to do and what he's talking about. And yeah, that's mostly it. People didn't know who you are, and they just mostly guessed that you don't know what they're talking about. That's the gist of it from what I
See
saw.
now, those people didn't know who I am, but if you go on Social Blade, over 1,500,000 people have watched me.
Yeah.
So, and I have made money when I first came on to YouTube. I made money record time. I became a partner in less than a couple of weeks, which was unheard of back then. But I did, and I also, if you look up in my channel, I don't know if you explored, but I was at the filming of Angels Take Manhattan
Ooh.
in New York City, and Moffat allowed me to walk and film the cars and stuff like that.
That's pretty good.
That he gave, like they like you weren't allowed to do that, but he allowed me to do that. He gave the okay for the guards to let me film around there. Now, in the end, my biggest problem was that when I got the scoop where they were, it was 12. I was there 12 hours early, and I don't know why I got dressed up,
Yeah.
but I wore shoes, and at the end of the day, had blisters on my feet. I was in so much pain. But right before I left, I was walking towards Matt Smith, like I was going to shake his hand, and the cops went right between us because they felt that they didn't know who I was and they didn't want me to hurt him. And he felt bad for me, and he's like, "Look, if you hang around, like, because afterwards they were done filming, they were going to go for drinks or whatever." I was in so much pain, I left. So, but he was saying, if you hang around, I'll take pictures, I'll do this, because he felt bad. Because I was this close. We were about to shake hands, and they went right between us. So I was always like, oh, I got to meet him eventually, because
I'm
I was
curious about something. What's your favorite season? Because, like, I think mine is probably series 1.
I love the third season with the Master coming back. Like,
Oh yeah, that was a
I
really good
love
one.
Utopia, The Sound of the Drums, The Last of the Time Lords. I love Martha Jones. The whole thing with the wrap up with the face of Bo.
Yeah.
I did love series 1, series 2. I also loved Moffat's run. Well, I loved like how they ended it with the Master and the time.
Yeah, yeah.
I loved Matt Smith so much.
Mm-hmm.
So like maybe Matt Smith's besides the David Tennant ones, like multiple favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And I did love Capaldi too. Um, Now Jodie, when I first heard it, we did a reaction to her being chosen. I was pissed, and I threw Canine across the room. I broke its neck, my toy, and my people on here were upset. I was really angry with that they chose Jodie. Now, it took a while before Doctor Who aired. I think I did 450 podcasts before it aired. And people were sending me clips. Oh, look at her. She's with Christopher Eccleston in a play. It was when they leaked her first appearance, like in a
Mm-hmm.
clip. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, she is the Doctor. That's the way the Doctor talks, you know? And I wound up liking Jodie Whittaker. I thought she was a great Doctor. And another thing I loved about Jodie Whittaker was the fact that when COVID was going on and kids were so scared and unsure, she didn't have to film from her house.
Yeah.
She didn't have to film to try to make the kids feel safe.
Yeah,
She
she
did
was.
that
Yeah.
she did it on her own,
Yeah.
acting like the doctor in her pantry, whatever, right? And I was so touched by that because I'm like, you know what? She really cares about these kids. She really cares about the fans. She went
Yeah.
above and beyond, right? And
Yeah.
nobody could say anything to me bad about Jodie Whittaker after that because I was like, no way, she's awesome. Now, you could say the writing sucked, which
Yeah.
it did.
Yeah.
It
He
did.
did. Yeah.
But that's not her fault. You know, like you have to expect, like even Peter Capaldi said, like, look, you're an actor. If the thing is made with like a cardboard box, like you got to react to it as if it's the greatest fucking villain you've ever seen, or scared, or whatever, right? You have to
Yeah.
react like make the people believe what you're seeing, right? And sometimes the budget's been ridiculous, right? But
Yeah.
I loved Peter Capaldi, and I loved his Doctor, and I also loved that David Tennant came back. I always said that we did a joke cast that time, and I said, "Oh, um, David Tennant was going to be the 13th Doctor." Um,
You almost
but
guessed it.
right, but the thing, it was a joke. But I always felt because they revisited old faces. I always
Mm-hmm.
felt that the Doctor would choose David Tennant's 10th Doctor face, and I
Yeah.
always felt that I even made a
kind of,
video years ago saying that Russell and Moffat were coming back.
yeah.
And I was right about that too.
I just kind of wish we got Matt Smith as like the 17th or 16th. Would be kind of sick.
Well,
Like
I gotta tell you, from what I understand, like the joke was, like the communication, I guess, was that
yeah.
Moffat's like to Russell, well, you brought your doctor back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, meaning
Yeah.
I want to bring my doctor back. Now,
yeah.
we know that Matt's currently doing a series for Sky, I think, and he's doing a.
Yeah, I
think
think so too.
Right. We were talking about that. Well, actually, our group, I think we touched on it on. I don't know if we touched on it the podcast. I know we talking about it in our group text. Connor and Marty were talking about what Matt Smith was doing, but we know that Russell took Jody and Amanda Gill out to dinner
Mm-hmm.
and offered them to appear in Doctor Who years from now for something that's going to happen. They plan. They said yes. We also know that he took Alex Kingston out to dinner. He took out before Karen Gillan had a baby and Jenna Louise Coleman. He took them out to dinner, talking to them. Most of the time when they do take them out to dinner means that they're going to appear or they have something in the works. And we also heard that I don't know if we touched upon it. I have to ask Marty if I'm allowed to say this, but we also heard about an upcoming TARDIS Tales that they're doing.
Oh yeah, I think you said this about.
We did say it about. I think we said it, right?
I know
about Rose Tyler and
Jackie.
Yeah, and Jackie. Yeah. So I feel because there was also, I think it was 2 years ago, people didn't know that Moffat was with Russell, and Moffat on Twitter said, "Oh, something about it would be great to get Sally Sparrow back," and Russell said, "Well, just write it, dude, and I'll film it." And people didn't know he was even working on Doctor Who because they were, but there's been rumblings that maybe he will do it. I don't know if he's gonna. It hasn't been filmed yet. I don't think.
I think the reason Sally hasn't come back is because she's got so popular in America and like.
Yeah,
they couldn't even get it for that. They couldn't even get it for that game, the Weeping Angels one.
I would like to say that if Matt Smith would return, they would just do specials.
Yeah.
And the way they would explain the way they would explain it is that this happens and that his memory was wiped because of the memory worm from the Paternoster gang, and he still is sad thinking that. But I would like to think, because when I was at filming of Angels Take Manhattan, Moffat was very torn because he did not want to end the thing with the ponds, and he didn't know how to end it. And there was stuff that he filmed that never aired. There was all these scenes I saw with Matt Smith and Karen Gillan in a nightclub with a jazz band, with them talking. There was a whole few things that they filmed. And I'm like, this never appeared.
Yeah,
Are they going to show this? Right? So I would like to think that he would do specials, because he also would have to explain why Missy did not battle him. And she was a major part of the 11th Doctor's life, being the girl in the shop introducing Clara to the phone number to contact the 11th Doctor.
Yeah, it was.
Why
Matt
did they?
Matt was always. I don't think we heard it, but I think it was some interview. He said like he always wished he would have gotten his master or Missy, but he never got it.
Right, and we also it was always a possibility that the Dream Lord was actually transitioning into Missy, like he went from the Master to the Dream Lord, because the Dream Lord was kind of trying to be his friend and helping him. And they tried to make it that it was Pollen, but Pollen would not control the TARDIS when they were unconscious.
Yeah.
He was actually in the TARDIS controlling the TARDIS, the Dream Lord. So he wasn't really Pollen. He was actually the Dream Lord.
Yeah, that explanation was kind of...
And Moffat had all these plans for another season. Like, he said in Doctor Who magazine that Madame Kravarian was returning, because he really thought that he was going to get Matt Smith to stay, and then Matt Smith didn't stay.
Yeah.
And that I remember people coming down hard on me saying, "You don't know what you're effing talking about. He's doing another season." Moffat said it in Doctor Magazine. I'm like, "No, he's leaving," and he did, and people were pissed. But the thing was, Moffat was pissed because Moffat had to throw those scripts in the garbage, and they don't like that. Like to do all that work and then
Yeah.
he had to toss it because there's a new Doctor. They're not going to act that way. They're not.
I
It's not
don't.
going to make sense.
I don't
So,
know if you heard about this, but I think Moffat said that Dot and Bubble were supposed to be 11 Doctor story, but it was never made. Apparently,
oh yeah.
RTV said that.
I know.
RTV said that.
I was kind of curious why everybody was saying how Joy of the World was Moffat's last, and it's not. Like
No, I don't think it is. Yeah,
he's got an episode in season 2, so I don't know why they're. Maybe they
yeah,
don't know. I don't know. But all right. I'm not gonna make this go on too long. So what else? So you said there's a Discord server
yeah.
that talks about Doctor Who that people were bashing me, or they were just not.
I mean, look, a guy posted it, and then you know how lots of people just post these, trolls that just
Yeah.
keep saying stuff that
I've
they're
had
not
so
good.
many trolls over the years.
Yeah,
And I don't know if you're a witness to all this, so I talk about how people are trying to get me to stop talking about Doctor Who.
yeah. I saw in the comments. Yeah,
They're trying to flag my gaming streams. It's just they're
Same.
relentless. And I also have an enemy that this guy's trying to think like he's the main Doctor Who guy, and he keeps bashing me. And he
Oh,
did some death.
Cortisone.
Yeah,
Or
he did
something?
some death
Yeah, I
threats.
could have.
Yeah,
Yeah, I heard of him. Yeah. I don't
him
like
and
him either.
problem being which he's been absent for a while. I know we'll see what happens when he returns, but. Look, everybody could talk about Doctor Who. It's a free reign on YouTube.
Yeah,
Nobody's restricted. So we may not agree, but as far as I know, I've been like basically one of the only ones saying that Doctor Who is going to continue.
yeah,
Everybody's been cancellation doom, thumbnails. I'm like, nope, it's happening. So I will be happy and glad, and I will probably dig it in to all these people, make them aware that I was right, and they're all wrong because I like
yeah.
to do that. But I hope you. What is your favorite episode of Doctor Who, by the way?
Oh, favorite. This may be a bit of
Or
hot take,
season? What season? Like just what seasons did you like? What episodes did you like? Not that you have to do a favorite. No pressure.
okay, favorite episodes probably Blink, and favorite season series 1. Like I really loved
With
Christopher
Chris
Eccleston.
Eccleston. Yeah.
Huh?
Do you like Shooty?
Yeah, I think he's a good doctor, but I just don't like all the constant crying of that. I think that's a bit too
I
emotional.
think everybody agrees with that.
And I think he should have more darkness to him, like more mean moments and stuff. Like
Well,
we
that's what I
had
said on Twitter. You showed me what I said on Twitter. I want to see him be really pissed off and
Yeah,
nasty and mad. One of
yeah,
the
yeah.
greatest things, if you remember, was when there were episodes that the Doctor was just acting like. Did you ever? You saw David Tennant's episodes, right? You saw like the Family of Blood, right?
Oh yeah, I saw all of it.
Human
All
Nature.
of it.
So you saw
Yeah.
when he got pissed off that he threw
Oh
the guy
yeah.
outside the airlock. He put the girl in
Oh
the
yeah.
mirror. Right.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
talking deep, dark shit. Right?
Yeah.
Just like Matt Smith, right? Him and Rory are pissed because they're trying to find Amy. The Doctor's destroying all the Cybermen spaceship while Rory is talking to the
Oh yeah. I've been
cyber
doing
leader.
it before,
Right?
yeah.
I'm talking pissed off like he's getting an army, everything. Right? I love that shit. I love when the Doctor just shows how powerful he really is.
Yeah.
And I like it when he gets dark like that because,
Mm-hmm.
If you ever watch the classic series,
Oh yeah. I watched all of it. Yeah.
one of the biggest things and shocking things was the fact that the trial of the Time Lord was that the person that was putting the Doctor on trial was himself.
Yeah.
From the future,
Valiard. Yeah.
Valiant.
His
And
own
the Valiant,
incarnation.
he turns evil and he has no more regenerations at the time, and he just wanted to steal his regenerations and
Yeah.
paradox everything.
It's a really good story.
Yeah, and I was always waiting for him to return, because they said somewhere between his 12th and final regeneration, the Valiard comes. Which now that he can regenerate indefinitely, that could be any time, right?
Yeah.
They did mention him, and there were also times when we thought he was going to become the Valiard, like when Waters of Mars. He's like, I can do anything. I'm the only Time Lord there is. There is no rules and whatever. Remember? And he was being a dick, and he was like talking to Adelaide Brooks, and then she killed herself. Remember? Because she didn't want to alter the timeline.
Yeah. Tough.
So like Yeah, he went too far. He went like crazy. So,
Hmm.
um, so yeah, I love Doctor Who. I've been watching it since I was 5. And my first story was Pyramids of Mars with
Oh,
Sutek, which is
yeah.
why you won me over with the finale because my first villain was Sutek. So seeing Sutek come back, I don't care what anybody says. That I thought the finale was excellent. I don't have problems with it at all. So I'm biased because again I got what I wanted, and I was glad that they made a classic villain return.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to come on here. I'm glad you popped in. I
Yeah.
apologize on such short notice, but I just wanted people to be aware. Look, man, if you want Doctor Who canceled or not, just use your brain for a second and think. Will they cancel something they spent hundreds of millions of dollars on to air? No, they're not going to do that. Just like
And
they're
just
don't.
and just
Yeah,
and just think about this. All these channels that are covering Doctor Who, it gets canceled. Well, their channel will basically die because what would they talk about else?
right.
Yeah.
Like if that's what I was thinking about too. I was like, if Doctor Who is canceled and this is canceled, what could you possibly? How could you entertain your audience? And
Yeah.
what would they give a shit about? And this is why on my channel I do different things. I do
Yeah.
gaming. I do
Expanded.
I do podcasts on other stuff, right? So that's why I invented the Everything Show. That's why I've done the gaming. This is why I do food reviews and I do walkabout, like I do walking morning with Matrix, sort of different things. So I give a variety on my channel. So if something did happen, it wouldn't phase my channel at all. Just like when Doctor Who was off the air for a little bit, like when they had delays and stuff, my channel was doing great because I did the Everything Show. And we were covering everything Marvel and comic books and video games and
Yeah.
everything. So but these guys, most they just talk about Doctor Who, they be done. You're correct.
Yeah.
And then what are you gonna do then? What could what could you do to watch them? And they would try to find another thing they hate, right? Or they would make shit up, like people say they review shit, they don't review shit. So that's all I wanted to say. I wanted to get my point across, and I'm glad I got to have you on for the first time.
Here's my last
Um,
question for the day. I just wanted to ask you, why do you think they haven't released release date yet? Because back in last year, they said it's coming in May, but now we don't know when it's coming out. I don't know why they're
well,
waiting so long.
me and Marty know, but we're not going to say because um,
Yeah, yeah,
that
sure,
could
sure.
change. That could change. If you watched my podcast, I was going over it. I said, okay, when would it make sense to release Doctor Who? Right? I said you're not going to release it when Daredevil airs. I don't think. Right? You're not going to
Hmm.
release it when anything Marvel or Star Wars appears. Right? Now we do know that Skeleton Crew was on, and then because of Skeleton Crew and Disney Plus really didn't promote the Christmas special. It
Yeah,
was the last minute. All they were promoting was Skeleton Crew, Skeleton Crew.
yeah,
So this is why I said to Marty and Connor and everybody that if you're going to release Doctor Who at the same time as their show, they're not going to promote it well. And they got to look at a time that makes sense where Disney Plus will promote them properly, right? Now, I was thinking before we found out, I was thinking, just release it as soon as possible. Now, January's too soon because they would have announced it already.
hmm
I was thinking February
yeah, yeah. Probably
because
February.
because I because I don't think there's anything that's coming out in February for Disney Plus. There is Captain America in the movies, but not on Disney Plus. So I said, well, maybe
Yeah.
February would be the perfect time. Whatever they go with, from what the date we heard,
Hmm.
I just know that I want it to be as soon as possible
Yeah,
because this would kind of force Disney Plus to have to respond.
yeah,
If
yeah.
it
Basically, they
because
can
you're
just
because
they can just be
yeah,
quiet. Yeah, I agree.
and also too, they would probably be forced to just approve it because the Christmas special didn't air yet either. And
Yeah,
so I just people saying this has to happen. I don't think they have to say shit because they're
yeah,
still going to film anyway. But if I would like an announcement, yes, I think would make sense. So
Yeah, then people would just shut up about it and like you just be done
because the
with it.
thing is, if we get the announcement, then when you go to Comic Con in San Diego Comic Con, then they would have a big thing about it. They would talk,
Yeah.
and that's what you want. Like, 'cause they paid a lot of money for that charter set when they did that Comic
Yeah.
Con in San Diego.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that if the show's getting canceled. So I don't know why people are under the impression that's going to get canceled. And again, there's also a possibility, right? And think about this. This is another possibility. Let's just say the ratings were okay with Doctor Who
Mm-hmm.
season 2, right? You add a spinoff. Say the spinoff ratings are through the roof. Say people are like, wow, I really like that Kate Stewart said, fuck these motherfuckers, and like just shoot them or whatever, right? Like just unit being unit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
No
Yeah.
doctor dealing with the alien threat. You get to know these characters. Say people fucking want that, right? Like, holy shit, this is awesome. Disney
Mm-hmm.
Plus is going to be like, well, we can't do shit because we cancel it, right? But if
Mm-hmm.
they don't cancel it, and that does fucking phenomenal, they're going to approve Doctor Who anyway because they can't do spin-offs if you cancel the main show.
Basically, yeah.
Like I'm saying, if it's through the roof, they want more of it. They have to approve Doctor Who because you
Yeah.
can't do one without the other.
And they'll want more spin-offs, I assume.
Correct. Or seasons or whatever. Yeah. So that's my point, is that like you have to think with your brain before like you make these people are making these streams and they're doing with the panels and but it's all bullshit because they're not thinking it through. They're not thinking through that they spent the money, right? They think, oh, it's just a corporation, they can cancel. No. These people spent $100 million on the damn season. And then how much money on the spinoff? And then how much money on the Christmas special? They're not going to cancel something that they didn't air yet. All that money, then you know what? If they were like that, they would be like DC, and they would like DC canceled Batgirl. You never saw it. They would cancel whole fucking movies, even though they're made, because they didn't give a shit about losing hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Yeah.
That's DC. That's not Marvel. Marvel is not. Disney and Marvel are not going to cancel movies that are already made.
Yeah, that's pretty much a given.
They will let it bomb. And, Captain America looks like it's going to bomb. But they'll let it bomb. And they'll take the loss. But they're not going to do anything. They may pull it early, right?
Yeah.
Like I know DC pulled the Flash early or whatever.
Yeah.
They may pull it early so they don't have to spend money with the theaters. But they're not going to. Now, yes, I always predicted they canceled Inhumans because nobody gave a shit about Inhumans as a movie. And then when the TV show aired, nobody gave a shit about that either. So I was correct about that. But I think that the problem with, Disney is, they wasted money on bullshit. And when Marvel got so successful with the movies, they said anything goes, whatever movie you want, everybody does their own thing. And that's where the problem lies, because before everything was connecting leading up to Thanos, and now everybody was doing their own thing. Like you got a Black Widow fucking movie after she died, who gives a shit, right? I mean, you got all this shit happening. Why is Kang the Conqueror in a fucking Ant-Man movie? If you just had him get his ass kicked by ants and Ant-Man and the Wasp. So why the fuck would you think he would carry a movie if he got his fucking ass kicked and the movie fucking didn't do well? Right?
Yeah, same for Marvels also.
Ant-Man is supposed to be about Ant-Man and comedy and his own personal shit. Don't start involving him in the fucking, he's the goddamn spokesperson for the fucking Avengers. No.
Yeah, Avengers.
No, even though it was his idea that saved the day, don't do that. Just like if you're doing a Spider-Man movie, you can't have the fucking Avengers in it. You can't. You got to just be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man shit. Spider-Man's villain. Spider-Man's people. Right. You start doing that, then you're gonna have a problem. Right. So
this is the reason. This is just the reason that I think that MCU just needs to reboot after a few years, because like
just like stop making stupid movies, right?
Yeah,
The
that
movies
too.
that everybody wants to see, they're not making. Why is that? Everybody wants to see Steve Rogers go back, bring the hammer back,
Oh
bring the
yeah,
gems back, right?
that'd
The
be so good.
last scene, the end of the movie, he comes across the Red Skull, and there's no fucking way in history with Steve Rogers, when he finds out he's got to give the gem back to the Red Skull, who was a fucking Nazi, right?
Yeah,
And even though he's not a Nazi now, there's no fucking way he's going to give him back the gem. There's no way. And that's what the kicker would be of the movie is that now everybody would start getting involved because maybe the Ancient One, because that's what he's supposed to do, right? And it would be a thing where, and I'm 100% positive on this, he would say, if I got to give the gem back, I want my Avengers back to life. The ones that are in the soul world, right? I want Black Widow back and I want Gamora back. Because those are the two he lost in the soul gem, right? Because Thanos killed Gamora, the real Gamora, our Gamora, right?
yeah,
And Black Widow sacrificed herself so Hawkeye would get the gem. So if you're going to give the gem back, he wants his people back. And then I would think that Loki would step in and say, look,
yeah,
this is the threat. This is what's going on. And, and then he would get Iron Man back and whatever too. Like just, because I don't see Iron Man not returning as Tony Stark as Robert Downey Jr. I feel that there's some weird shit that he looks like Doctor Doom. I don't know why. And also from what we hear, all the original Avengers are going to be evil. That Chris Evans is going to be Hydra Cap.
yeah.
Mark Ruffalo is going to be the Maestro. Black Widow is going to be evil. Hawkeye is going to be evil. Like they're all going to be evil versions that these new Avengers are going to have to fucking deal with.
It kind of reminds me of Dark Avengers comic. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Which I feel that basically you're going to, because the only people that are going to save the day are the leaders from the alternate universes. Like you're going to have Wolverine, you're going to have Deadpool, you're going to have Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. They're going to be basically the leaders of whatever's going on. And Doctor Strange and, Scarlet Witch. I don't know how she's going to play a part in it because she looks like she's teaming up with evil. So I don't know what, but Vision has to be a part of that too. But it might be too soon because they're doing the Vision series. But anyway, back to Doctor Who. Look, video's got to make sense. Streams got to make sense. Think about what you're saying about Doctor Who before you do podcasts and videos because you got to think about it. They're not going to just cancel it. They're not. They're going to have to make sure everything airs if they were going to cancel it. And if they were, they're going to film tomorrow anyway. And it's going to be on BBC because Russell already said it. Russell already said if Disney Plus doesn't take it, we're still going to put it on BBC. Yeah. So it's not canceled. It's just they went to them to put them on there. So that's going to be the thing. And you know what? Anybody would take them. Netflix, WB, anybody.
Prime.
Anybody would take them. Yeah. So that's the whole point. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this podcast, the Real Whovians Cast 1988. Matt, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the invite.
Oh, no problem. You're welcome anytime you want. Next
thanks.
time I do another cast. All right. And if we're doing everything show, you want to do that rather than Doctor Who, that'll be good too.
Yeah, sure,
All
sure.
Right. Thank you guys. All right, I'm gonna try to see how I feel and then back to gaming. Take care. Bye for now.